Hello guys, in this video we'll be learning about the sequential logic circuits starting with digital states. In the last video we learned how to build combinational logic circuits given a functional specification that tells us how output values were related to the current values of the inputs. But here's a simple device we can't build with combinational logic. The device has a light that serves as the output and push button that serves as the input. If the light is off and we push the button, the light turns on. If the light is on and we push the button, the light turns off. As you can see that the button is the input and the light is the output. When the button is pushed, it turns the light on if it's off or turns the light off if it's on. The main point is what makes this circuit different from the combinational circuit we have discussed so far. The biggest difference is that the device output is not function of the device current input value. The behavior when the button is pushed depends on what has happened in the past. Odd numbered pushes turns the light on, even numbered pushes turns the light off. The device is remembering whether the last push was an odd push or an even push. So it will behave according to the specification when the next button comes along. The first one is the states. The second difference is more subtle. The push of the button marks an event in time. We speak of the state before the push, before the light is on, and after the push, after the light is off. It's transition of the button from unpushed to pushed that we are interested in, not whether the button is currently pushed or not. The output was changed by an input event rather than input level. The device's internal state is what allows it to produce different outputs even though it receives the same input. A combinational device can't exhibit this behavior since its output depends only on the current values of the input. When do we say that the device has a state? We say that the device has state when the device remembers something about the history of their inputs. Now, coming on to the sequential logic circuits. We'll introduce a new abstraction of memory component that will store the current state of digital system we want to build. The memory component stores one or more bits that encode the current state of the system. These bits are available as digital values on the memory component's output. Shown here are marked with current states. The current state come along with the current input values are the inputs to a block of combinational logic that produces two sets of inputs. One set of output is the next state of the device encoded using the same number of bits as the current state. The other set of outputs are the signals that serves as the outputs of the digital system. The functional specification for the combinational logic specifies how the next state and the system outputs are related to the current state and the current inputs. The memory component has two inputs, a load control signal that indicates when to replace the current state with the next state, and a data input that specifies what the next state should be. Our plan is to periodically trigger the load control, which will produce a sequence of values for the current state. Each state in the sequence is determined from the previous state and the inputs at the time the load was triggered. Circuits that include both combinational and memory components are called sequential logic. The memory component has a specific capacity measured in bits. If the memory component stores k bits, this puts an upper bound of 2 to the power k on the number of possible states since the state of the device is encoded using k bits of memory. So we'll need to figure out how to build a memory component that can be loaded with new values now and then. That's the subject of next video. We'll also need a symmetric way of designing sequential to achieve the desired sequence of action. Thank you.